Khan Academy has been a great asset in my classroom with regard to assisting struggling learners. I teach some below grade level classes, and that's where we're using the Khan Academy. And the Khan Academy has helped me, first of all, identify those struggling learners, and not just identify the student, but identify the particular concepts with which they struggle. So I'm able to target my instruction and my intervention strategies particularly to the student and to the topic. And that's allowed me to spend more one-on-one time with my students, or time with small groups of students rather than entire whole class lectures, which has been a lot of fun. I feel like I've gotten to know my students better because I'm spending so much time with them one-on-one individually. I'm also getting my students involved in the peer tutoring process, which is making them stronger learners and teachers as well as they assist each other, and it's building good relationships in my classroom. So I feel like the Khan Academy has helped me take these struggling learners, these learners who otherwise dreaded math every day and might want to go to the nurse's office instead of come to class, and they look forward to coming to class because they've built this bond with me and they've built this bond with each other, and we truly have a community of learners where these kids who are struggling now have a vested interest in their math education, and they can see their progress and their attitudes have improved and they are engaged and they are enjoying math for possibly the first time in their lives.
That's fantastic. What would it have looked like without Khan Academy when you were working with struggling students or struggling learners?
Prior to the Khan Academy, when I was working with struggling learners, I had to do a lot of guessing and using some teacher intuition, which was quite often on track. The problem was I would do whole class interventions. I would think, okay, my students are struggling in general with this particular topic, this is what we're going to revisit. And I would do a reteach, and we would do a review of a particular concept. And I think the frustrating part with that approach was there are always students who are already strong in that area. So those students were bored, those students were checking out, and while maybe the vast majority of my class needed that review, there were kids who didn't, and so their math education wasn't doing for them what it should. Prior to the Khan Academy, I did a lot of the whole group intervention, the whole group instruction, the whole group practice, the whole group remediation, and now I can really focus on those individuals and their specific needs. So I feel like the Khan Academy has made me a more effective teacher. I feel like my time is used better in the classroom. I feel like my students' time isn't wasted as much, that they are actually working on things that they need during class time and outside of class time, rather than me just writing a blanket prescription for the whole class. I can individually prescribe necessary interventions for each child.
Let's jump next to kind of how you integrate project-based learning or deeper learning, different kinds of exercises in the classroom. How do you kind of interweave interweave that with the Khan Academy?
The Khan Academy frees me up to implement more project-based learning in my class, my below grade level classes with my struggling learners. Previously, these were the classes where the students just needed a lot of extra practice with the rote, you know, put your decimal point here, get the common denominator, those types of things, just over and over, lots and lots of practice. And the Khan Academy takes care of a lot of that, so that frees us up to do more application in my class, where once they complete a certain set of modules, they are prepared to go on and do an investigative activity or a project, such as we've done one this year where it's called the Data Dash, where students collected data. They designed a problem, they collected data with regard to their problem, they displayed their data using graphs, they analyzed their data using, you know, various methods, mean, median, mode, range, things that they learned with the Khan Academy, the top concepts that are supported by the Khan Academy, and we can pull those concepts and make a fun and meaningful project where the kids can actually see these concepts in context And that makes it fun for the kids, it makes it real for the kids, and it makes class that much more engaging. They see the why we need these concepts. They see how the stuff they've been studying with the Khan Academy, the modules they've been completing with the Khan Academy, is useful in the real world. They see why we're bothering to learn it, why we're bothering to study it, and it makes them that much more motivated and that much more engaged. And they see math in their everyday lives, and they see the importance of it. And so the Khan Academy has freed us up to be able to do more of those kinds of things, and it makes teaching and learning more exciting in my classroom.
That's great. Sounds a lot more fun too.
It is. and I get to flex my creative muscle, you know, with that. It's not the same boring drill and kill every day. The Khan Academy is very engaging, and the kids are wrapped up in that. And then I get to design these really cool off-the-wall lessons and projects that otherwise we wouldn't have time for.
That's great.
2 more minutes.
Okay. Overall, how would you say it's affected or impacted student achievement with respect to, say, standardized testing or just, you know, learning and testing in general, achievement?
Okay. The Khan Academy has made a huge impact on student achievement in my classes. The Khan Academy has enabled us to go back and fill gaps in learning, and so that has made my students move forward on a more sure foundation, math foundation, so that as they're acquiring new skills, they're able to build on things that they already know, they already understand. That whole educational process of scaffolding, building new information upon previously learned information is working very well in my classroom. So my students are stronger, they're faster with their math concepts. Their mental math skills have come along amazingly well this year. I'm definitely seeing that. I'm seeing an increase in their motivation. With regard to standardized testing, we've done some informal testing in my classroom and looking at individual student growth, and we have seen just astronomical results. I think on average my students have improved 180% this year from the end of 6th grade, and we aren't even finished with the school year yet. Many of my students who were several levels below grade level are now functioning at grade level or above grade level at this point. So the Khan Academy has made a real difference in these kids' lives. Their outlook is much brighter than it was a year ago because of this program, and it just warms my heart to see where these kids can go now, and they know it.
Great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No,
Is that it? Okay.
Perfect.